Okay, we're back again. I'm going to read excerpts out of Hermann Hesse's Narcissus and Goldmund. What is this world in which we are made to live? Is it not hell? Is it not revolting and disgusting? You told me that the world was divine, and that it was a great harmony of circles, with the Creator enthroned in its midst. That what existed was good. You told me Aristotle had said so, or St. Thomas. I have always adored our Creator as perfect, but never as creation. I have never denied the evil in the world. No true thinker has ever affirmed that life on earth is harmonious and just, or that man is good. The strivings and doings of man's heart are evil, so man is evil. Life on earth is full of ugliness and trickery. Justice and perfection exist. Life in this cloister is just as imperfect and full of sin as it is in the world, preoccupied with the horror of life. The world is so full of death and horror. To pick the flowers that grow in the midst of hell, I find bliss, and for an hour I forget the horror. But that does not mean that it does not exist. This seesaw between lust for life and sadness of death. Have you tried no other road? Oh yes, of course, I have. I've tried art. I already told you that among other things, I also became an artist. I saw a wooden Madonna in a cloistered church. It was so beautiful. He was a famous master. What has art meant to you? What has art brought to you? It was overcoming the transitory, the death dance of human life, something lasting, works of art. They too will probably perish someday. They will burn or crumble or be destroyed. A silent empire of images and relics beyond the fleeting moment. It almost succeeds in making the transitory eternal. The miracle of art. I believe that art is more than salvaging something mortal from death and transforming it into stone, wood, and color so that it lasts a little longer. The basic image of a good work of art is not a real living figure, although it may inspire it. The basic image is not flesh and blood, it is mind. It is an image that has its home in the artist's soul. You have strayed unknowingly into philosophy and have expressed one of its secrets. You spoke of basic images, of images that exist nowhere except in the creative mind. Long before a figure becomes visible and gains reality, it exists as an image in the artist's soul, an idea. Painful battlefield of life, at the center of the endless and meaningless death dance of fleshly existence, there exists the creative mind. This mind is not that of a thinker, but that of an artist. His life has been given a meaning, period of freedom. He could be the guest of this superior mind without humiliation, since the other man had given recognition to the creative power in him, to making his inner world visible to him in works of images. You seem to have become a pagan, the man of the mind and of the church. Tell of this pilgrimage. Still looked wonderfully beautiful and a little evil. He saw and felt the dimension of these edifices, the vaults of the church, the power of the old paintings, of stone and wood figures on the altars. He now perceived the beauty of these things and of the mind that had created them. That I thought you were an artist. I thought you might become a poet. In your reading and writing you had a certain dislike for the intangible and the abstract, and a special love for words and sounds that had sensuous poetic qualities, words that appealed to the imagination. Or do you really prefer to think in words with which one cannot imagine anything? But can one think without imagining anything? Yes, certainly one can think without imagining anything. Thinking and imagining have nothing whatsoever in common. Thinking is done not in images, but with concepts and formulae. At the exact point where images stop, philosophy begins. For you, the world was made of images. For me, of ideas. Instead of immersing yourself in the world, you had become a thinker. You might have created evil, because you would have become a mystic. Mystics are, to express it briefly and somewhat crudely, thinkers who cannot detach themselves from images, therefore not thinkers at all. They are secret artists, poets without verse, painters without brushes, musicians without sound. These are highly gifted noble minds among them, but they are all without exception unhappy men. You too might have become such a man, instead of which you have, thank God, become an artist. I'll never succeed in grasping the idea of your thought world in which one thinks without images. An intelligent artist knows full well that his brushes and chisels will never be able to express perfectly the radiant nature of an angel or a saint. For us disciples of Aristotle and St. Thomas, it is the highest of all concepts, perfect being. God is perfect being. Everything else that exists is only half, only a part, is becoming, is mixed, is made up of potentialities. But God is not mixed. He is one. He has no potentialities, but is the total, the complete reality. Whereas we are transitory, we are becoming, we are potentials. There is no perfection for us, no complete being. But wherever we go, from potential to deed, from possibility to realization, we participate in true being, become by a degree more similar to the perfect and the divine. Cloister life is infinitely more helpful to men of my nature than the worldly life. Pure thinking, the practice and teaching of which is my task, offers a certain protection from the world. But in spite of the difficulty found in a way to become an artist. But there is one thing I still cannot get through my head, the thing you call pure thinking. I mean your so-called thinking without images, and the use of words with which one cannot imagine anything. A man must have measured and puzzled over much real and much fictitious space mathematically before he can risk facing the problem of space itself. Well, yes, but attacking the problem of space with pure thought does not strike me as an occupation on which a man should waste his work and his years. You are actually saying that you have a rather low opinion of thinking, but a rather high one of the application of thought to the practical, visible world. I can answer you, we lack no opportunities to apply our thinking, nor are we unwilling to do so. Represent creation, simple life of the patriarchs and the prophets. While you sing, you don't wonder whether or not singing is useful. You sing. That's how you are to pray. Ego extinguished, holy sacraments, thought of nothing becoming an artist himself. In the balustrade of the staircase, he created a small paradise. With ecstasy he carved a graceful wilderness of trees, brush, and herbs, with birds in the branches and the heads and bodies of animals emerging everywhere. Logic, grammar, and theology. I'm beginning to understand what art is. Formerly it seemed to me that, compared to thinking and science, it could not be taken altogether seriously. The mind unlocks recognition of the eternal to him. He should strive away from the senses and toward the mind if he wishes to elevate his life and give it meaning. Our thinking is a constant process of converting things to abstractions, an attempt to construct a purely spiritual world, a parable of eternity. Both are human endeavors and necessarily imperfect, but art is more innocent. How rich he became, he had become through his being and his art of renunciation of the world and of the joys of the senses, of withdrawal into philosophy and meditation. Had men really been created to study Aristotle and St. Thomas, to know Greek, to extinguish the senses, to flee the world? Had God not created him with senses and instincts, with blood-colored darkness, with the capacity for sin, lust, and despair? Without killing the divine spark within himself, the divine light, the creative force inside the shrine of his soul, sacred gestures, the gifts of God in the fickle heart of this artist, an expert on Plato. Sensuality can be given a soul. Of it, art is born. It is time for me to die. I am ready, and I am curious about it. There is no beyond. I hope death will be a great happiness, a happiness as great as that of love, fulfilled love, who will lead me back to non-being and innocence. Without a mother, one cannot love. Without a mother, one cannot die.